Right, I know this video is going to improve your game. This is some content that I've shared with my online clients. I'm going to be covering all aspects of the game. Make sure you subscribe. This playlist is going to cover everything from driving to how you should practice to short game. So make sure you hit that button and I'll speak to you later. Okay, morning, afternoon, evening subscribers, wherever you are in the world. As always, really appreciate your support. So a little bit of extra content. Had sort of two requests when it came to chipping, different lies and spinny chips. Now, spinny chips is going to be a bit of a tough one. The green itself is quite firm, so when you're trying to do some like checky chips where it sort of stops quite quickly, then you do need a lot of right conditions, the right type of golf ball and clean grooves, for example. I'll come on to it. So I have got to show you a bit of a downhill chip, I would say a normal chip, a bare lie, a ball that is sat on top of rough and a ball that is sat in rough, and we'll try and do one of the chippy chips, which I'm not overly confident. As ever, this is going to be a very unedited video, so testing the short game. Now, I am aiming for the yellow alignment stick in the distance, just to keep myself out of the way of other people that are practicing. Okay, so I've got a ball here, it's on a downslope. So first thing you need to understand is when you are addressing the ball on a slope, you want to try to get your body perpendicular to the slope. So I want to feel that my shoulder alignment is in theory parallel and my spine is perpendicular. So I want to definitely feel that I've got more pressure on my lead side and feeling that my shoulders are tilting in the line with the slope. That will definitely help me to get the correct sort of contact. What I see a lot of is people sort of still standing in the same sort of position and trying to help it up. So if your shoulders really don't match the lie of the land, then you're really going to struggle. The other thing to understand is because the ball is on a down slope, when you put the club next to the ball, you're in theory de-lofting the club slightly. So I have my 60 degree for this particular shot, because obviously when I get in line with the angles and the lie of the land, it's therefore going to be de-lofted. I need to visualize as ever my landing area. So I'm probably going to feel like, because it's going to come out lower, it's going to have more run. So I'm looking at probably on the fringe, just on the edge of the fringe. And to make sure I get sort of good contact, I might put my ball position ever so slightly back. But the real key of this shot is getting sort of level with the slope and feeling that my follow through is not an upward action, but I'm like chasing the slope. So I want to feel that I finish with a low club head so I can get the right sort of contact, and then it'll come out a bit lower with a bit more roll. This is actually a driving range ball, so it's not going to have any sort of spin on it at all. And we're hoping for just on the fringe, just before the green, and then it's going to release and it's going to touch that alignment stick, because I'm going to be positive and think about it. Right, normal chipping, I have my feet fairly close, lean into my lead side, only a tiny bit of shaft lean, and then feel that I chase the slope. So I nearly sometimes feel that my knees sort of stay nice and flexed. I don't want to be raising up through the shot, because I will get the top of the ball or the middle of the ball. Right, unedited shot number one. I purposely gave myself a good lie, by the way, to give me half a chance. But we're going for just on the edge there. So I'm visualizing that. Okay, that's one good demonstration. Da-da-da. Okay, now we're going to move over here where I've got the majority. I'm just going to put you on a bit of a slope, so let me just sort out the camera. Okay, so we're going to do this one here. So we've got a buried lie here. So I need to probably decide on what club I want, and I will probably go more to my sand wedge, because that's going to, the bounce of the sole of the club will help to get through the grass. So I need to feel that I'll change clubs quickly. So sand wedge in hand, the bounce is going to help me to sort of skim through the grass. I need to try to reduce how much grass gets between club and ball. This is going to be more of an old school way of chipping. This is going to be ball back, hands forwards. It will deal off the club slightly. Again, it will come out a bit lower, but I want to try to reduce the friction between the grass makes between club and ball, so I get a little bit of consistency in terms of the shot. There is obviously a chance that it will come out a bit, what they say, dead, because if there's too much grass between, obviously like US Open this week, this is nothing compared. They will obviously, you'll notice they'll do a lot of sort of duff chips. So as it's a bit buried, I'm going to feel ball slightly back, hands slightly forward, weight slightly forward on my lead side, and I really need to get underneath the golf ball, so I will feel that I really brush the bottom of the grass, not just the top of the grass. And again, visualization, probably on the fringe, and let it release and see if we can get inside that first demonstration, which I will doubt. I stand nice and close. I was a little bit wider on the slope because I wanted to maintain my balance. Now I can get quite close and get myself quite close, and I'll probably stand a little bit closer than normal to sort of get the heel off the floor slightly, so the heel doesn't dig into the grass and twist the club as we go through the grass. So, right, just on the fringe, weight forward, trying to reduce the grass in between club and ball. Ball came out a bit soft, but I'll take it. Right, I don't think I need to move you for the next one, guys. No, I don't. Right. So I've done another rough one, which is perfectly sat on top of it. I literally like just placed it on. Now, the one fear of this particular shot is if you have the same sort of impact ideas of the one where it was dug down, then because the ball is sat up on a bit of a grass tee, you may catch the top part of the club. So you nearly want to feel that this particular shot, you're just trying to sweep it off the top. You don't want to be sort of digging the club down, because you'll catch the top grooves, which means, again, you won't get that sort of consistency in terms of distance. So this is going to be very much ball in the middle, shaft pretty neutral, and just a little clip off the grass rather than a dig into the bottom of the roots. So, same sort of landing area, I would say, but this becomes a little bit more of a sweep than a chop down. So everything's going to be fairly neutral. Weight's not going to be too far forward. Shaft is fairly neutral. And just sort of clip it off the top. I probably hit that a little bit too hard. Okay. Then we've got just the normal chip. Now, what I would say from here, and again, you probably, if you've watched any sort of YouTube or social media clips, from here you could pretty much use anything. There's no reason for you to even lift the golf ball up in the air. It could be a putter, it could be a hybrid, it could be a 7-iron, it could be a lob wedge, whatever you really wanted. I would say in this situation, you would probably want to go with a club that you feel more comfortable with or more confident. If you are, say, struggling with confidence in terms of the chip and getting the consistency and sometimes hitting it thin or fat or etc., then just get the ball on the ground. There's no reason for it to go in the air. So yeah, I'll use my sandwich, shall I? See if I can hit the post. Again, setup wise, everything's fairly neutral. Tiny bit of shaft lean, tiny bit of weight forward, but there shouldn't be any reason to get fancy with this particular shot. Oh, that way too hard. It's not the worst one out of the four. Now, let me move you a little bit. Oh, on a bit of a slope here. So, what I wanted to just highlight, and again, we're looking at this ball just here, why would you do anything rather than putt it? But for whatever reason, if you did have to chip it, the one thing I would say, when you're on a bit of a bare lie, when the ground gets quite hard, obviously now England, we're in a bit of a heat wave, so we start to struggle and get very hard concrete sort of fairways and edges. Do not use a sandwich, because if you do use a sandwich, you are playing the risk of the bounce off the hard surface and then thinning it very easily. So realistically, ball on the ground, roll it. If not, something with a low bounce, so I will switch back to my lob wedge. But again, the fear of using a sand wedge is that the bounce of the club, I can't quite get underneath the golf ball, because as the sand wedge would sit, the leading edge would be actually off the floor. So I would need to have a little bit of shaft lean, because I need to get the leading edge underneath the golf ball. But I've just got to be careful. So realistically, this is never a lob wedge. This is just put it along the ground, or a little hybrid. My first one is still the best. Right. And then the one I fear the most, shall we say, I don't have great confidence in this next demonstration. Trying to do a bit of a, whoopsie daisies. Trying to do a bit of a checky chip. Well, let's go for an actual hole, shall we? Let's mix it up. Let's go. I'm all alone now. I was doing the alignment stick because there was a few people here practicing, so I didn't want to get in their way. By the way, just look how gorgeous this morning is. Again, I'm back where I used to work, because it's about 15 minutes from where I live, so I've just nipped in and done a bit of chipping. Okay. Couple of key components. Clean and I would say fairly new grooves. If your wedge is pretty old, obviously the grooves start to wear away. You've got no chance of getting a real nippy spin, and you need to use the right type of golf ball. So the balls that I've been using in the other demonstrations are just the ones in my practice tube. They are like rubbish distance balls that were very cheap. For this particular one, I've got my Pro V1, which is what I use on a regular basis. And I'm gonna make sure that I give myself a nice lie as well. What you need to get a ball spinning and checking is speed. So I'm gonna go for that one there. It is a fairly small swing, but I'm gonna really accelerate at the bottom. So I'm really gonna feel that I add club head speed, not in the backswing, but definitely as I go through, to try to get some extra spin and extra stop. The other thing I can do, I've got my lob wedge. I'm probably going to open up the lob wedge a little bit more to try to get more loft, so it goes higher and then sits down a little bit more. But Rob, I blame you for this, because Rob was the person that requested some checking chips, and it's definitely not one of my fortes. But to get the ball spinning, it needs speed. So you need loft, and you need speed, and you need confidence and commitment. So everything's got to be committed. I've got to turn the chest towards the target, but I just need a bit of speed. Right, we're going for this one here. I think the green is too hard to really get any sort of spin. It will just release on, but we'll give it a go, shall we? Ball in the middle, speed at the end. So I'm really accelerating that club past me, not in the backswing, but definitely on the follow through. Right, here we go. It wasn't too bad. I definitely was expecting worse. I didn't actually swing enough. I want to have another go before I leave you. But you can see it didn't release on too much. Okay, let's give that one more go, shall we? And then I will leave you. As always, I send these because I just appreciate you being a subscriber. And any other requests? The ball's in the perfect place. I'm sending, yeah, I've got a couple that I've done, but yeah, any more, and I'm more than happy to record it, try my best, and send it to you. Right, okay, a little bit of a longer backswing, speed and commitment, got a bit of loft. See, it just rolls on, but maybe not quite as much. So we don't quite have the ground conditions to get the ones that you see, like especially on the PGA Tour, where it's like zip, zip, zip. But speed and loft and clean grooves with a decent golf ball is the only way you're going to get a ball to spin and chip. Thank you very much, guys. Let us know what you think and any other requests, and have a fantastic day.